I'm an artist, an educator, and I come from the land, like all my people. My real name is Wakwakamic, and that transferred into Bobby Wash, which we have today. And so when I paint the spirit of the people that come from my land. And all this area around here is like all this area my grandfather trapped. So when I paint, I'm painting him and his spirit and all the people that came before them. That's who I am. And all my work that I've done with kids, I've always held to those values, that I come from the land and that I have to be fair and honest and respectful. And that's been a big part of my life. And I think now, as I transition into painting as a professional career, you have to come from a good foundation, and you have to understand where you come from to paint very well. So that's how I evolved to this. And you know, I've been very blessed to have a family, and I come from a strong line of people, medicine people. My grandfather Ed was a well-known traditionalist. His brother Sam was a well-known traditionalist, and they trapped this whole area, the White River Valley, the Abanadon, the Kindanagami, Bark Lake area. This was the area they trapped. And so I feel various kinship coming here to do this interview. Our people, the Anishinaabe people, they left indicators that they were here. The tradition within my family and within the Aboriginal people, the Anishinaabe people, was that we were mark makers. We had basket makers on my mother's side, and my dad's side we were trappers and medicine people. And I drew the idea from mark making from the petroglyphs that are numerous in this area. And these are ceremonial sites. So when I paint, even though I paint in a very 21st century context, I'm continuing our tradition of mark making. It's a sacred process, and I often describe my paintings as creating resonance from the land. And so I want the spirit of the land to come into the painting, and that people can feel something about it. Yes, it's a landscape, but maybe it'll remind them about their parents or grandparents or where they came from. And I think that's the magic of being so fortunate to be able to paint in Canada. And of course I've painted across North America, but I have a special kinship and a drawn to this part of the world because of the mark making process. This is where I started, and I guess I'm a very traditionalist and a spiritualist, yeah, in that sense that my mark making has a foundation. My mother used feathers in her ceremonies, and my dad used feathers, so that's why I carry a hawk feather with me all the time. Because the hawk feather, like tobacco, the tobacco I carry with me all the time, is they carry our message to the sky. And it's not an esoteric thing. My parents have been practicing this for generations. Our people came from the east, Wakwakamic, so they came from the east. And they settled in Whitefish Island on what they call Bay Watan or Sault Ste. Marie. And then they moved inland. And part of that movement was that they concealed our practices. So in a very modern sense, for my people, my kids, all my relatives, my brothers and my sisters, that we come from someplace strong. And my kids, all the kids that I taught, all the kids that I've come into contact, we all come from someplace strong. And I think we need to know that as our identity forms. I started out in mark making, and of course making the landscape, which I really know, which I'm connected to, because I know the nuances of the spirit, I know the nuances of the wind, and I know the nuances of the temperature and the landscape, so that's the magic part. So I try to connect that through painting by using color, form, design, value of light and dark, the idea of line and spot on a place and position and a composition. So I use all those elements of being formally trained and studying art, that I was able to start to I guess, to form an expression has taken my paintings all over the world. You know, in the Middle East, the Far East, in Australia, people recognize the uniqueness of that type of spiritual art. That it's very Canadian, very Anishinaabe, and that's who we are as people. So the real resonance of my spirit comes through the combination of the technical part that I just talked about, the recognition of the land, the recognition of the trees and the sky, our cedar, or just another medicine we have, the animals. All those things come into play to make a painting be able to awaken the spirit in the viewer. Validating our traditions as an Anishinaabe people makes us human.